Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today we're going to talk Etrata in deck number 347. Now I am super excited about this one. I've been saving a card from way back that I don't know what for, but I thought eventually they will print a use for it, and by gosh, this is it. We'll get to that later. Let's first read her. 4 mana for a 3/5 commander that cannot be blocked is amazing. However, I mean, if that's where it ended, that would still be a good card. It would be like, we're going to Voltron this thing up and get going. Not so much. But deals combat damage. They've got to have a creature in play that's not a token. Because tokens can't exist outside of play. So if you exile a token, you can't put the hit counter on it because it just poof, ceases to exist. So they've got to have creatures in play. Obviously, they can't block it. So, they get the hit counter. They get 3. Now, there are several ways. This is obviously, they did this particular legend for 60-card Magic, to where you can shuffle it in and you can have 4 copies and all that jazz. But anyway, we've got to find a way. Of course, there's the zone change rule. If she would go to be shuffled into the library, we can just put it back in the command zone, which is fine. However, it's going to cost you 4 to cast the first time to get 1 counter, 6 for the next hit counter, 8 for the next hit counter, assuming you did it all on the same person. That's 18 mana and 6 turns because, she's sick. So we got to find ways around all this. So the very first thing is, number 1, we got to make her not sick. And, a little protection helps too. So now we're down to 3 turns and still at 14 mana. So that's pretty, yeah. So what I did was, okay, that's obviously going to be plan B, is just recasting her from the command zone. That's plan B. We'll get to plan A in a minute. You got to have a good plan B. So that being said, I went crazy with the artifact ramp. Anything in these colors, it's hurting when we're playing Soul Grail. That can... Airflowing Chalice is amazing because you can ramp it up. You draw it late game, it's good. You draw it early game, it's good. Anything that can potentially get us up on mana and where we can just keep casting our commander over and over again. So, yeah, there's like no end to this stuff. That is a whole bunch of artifacts. Now, I'm not going to lie. That was the first thing I did. I was like, well, we got to have all these mana rocks. And just to be able to recast over and over again. And then at some point in time, I looked down and I counted the mana rocks and I went, commander damage is not out of the realm of possibilities. We've got so many rocks. Cranial plating's not bad. Not bad at all here. So then, even playing with a couple of rituals from Black. Now, then I thought, well, we got to draw some cards. That's just... Got a lot of artifacts, so might as well be playing a Thoughtcast. Impulse, Ponder, Get Probe, Brainstorm, Telling Time, Damn. Now, that's just to draw some cards so we can get to our rocks. Now let's get to the interesting part here. Card that I've been saving. So if recasting her is my plan B, what's my plan A? Doomsday. Yeah. You have a 5-card, let her go to the library. You have a 5-card library, her and 4 others. This really increases the chance that you're going to draw it. You've got a 20% chance of drawing it. Now, The problem is that's just 20%. I mean, yeah, you got to pay half your life, whatever. I don't, that's just part of dealing with black. So after you Doomsday, you desperate research. Of course, you name your commander. You put your commander in your hand. You have no library anymore. Now, yes, exceedingly risky, I'll admit. But you know what? If we are playing this deck and committing to winning with hit counters, we're already stepping up to the plate with 2 strikes. So, desperate research is going to eliminate our library. And that way, when Etrata hits, oh, okay. When she deals her thing, which because she does actually hit, yeah, I think that's a good verbiage there. When Etrata hits and shuffles back in, she's the next card in your library. Now you gotta have your really gotta have your boots out because you're gonna draw her, cast, equip boots, do it again. So every single turn. Now this being said, um, this probably, now that I think about it, would have been a real good place to put a bunch of take extra turn cards. Probably would have, but I didn't do that because I didn't think about it till like right now. So, but we got to go get our Doomsday and or Desperate Research. So what I did was, of course, we got Mystical Tutor, Diabolic Tutor, Merchant Scroll, Mystical Teachings, Noble Benefactor. Now, obviously, with this many tutors, the CCO boys are just going to light me up. Uh, uh, but let's see. Now, Elixir of Immortality is in there just in case. It is a panic button that you put out there and you forget about until you've got your Doomsday thing off and Etrata's the only card, and you've got some guy across the table. It's like, hey, draw 3 cards, or I'm gonna play the Howling Mine, and you're like, well, crap, there goes that strategy. So you can use your elixir to get your graveyard back, which may or may not be a bunch, but it keeps you from insta losing. Now, because we want that, I'm running a Trinket Mage. Now, we're not running a whole lot of creatures in the deck, obviously, but Trinket Mage is in there to go get the elixir, and more importantly, the Glaring Spotlight. Because we're running a host of removal. I mean, Price of Fame, Deathmark, Doomblade, Tragic Slip. I'm kind of liking Guild. I don't know why I like Guild, but I am. I guess because it gives you the 1 mana rebate. Yeah. I think for 4 mana it probably really should have been an instant, but that's just me. Black Sun, and of course, Sudden Spoiling. Because while we don't have a boatload of creatures to block and do sudden spoiling shenanigans with, other players do. And when player B attacks player C, I will throw somebody under the bus. As long as it ain't me, right? Now, we also got to protect our commander cycle shenanigans that we've got going on. So, of course, we've got, counter spells. We got counterspell and arcane denial, dissolve, flash counter, just in case we get into that counter war, negate, mana leak, rewind, disdainful stroke, and I'm really liking this new sinister sabotage one because of surveil is not bad. I don't know that I haven't gotten to build the surveil deck yet. I just, well, no. I've got a Lazov, but the Lazov is not exactly. It doesn't really lend itself to. I mean, it does a little bit, but we might try to make that as much surveil as possible. Now, let's see what else we got. Now we go to the randomness category. Memory plunder. I kind of like this because, people play with tutors, people play with. But I love the fact that it's without paying the mana cost. So if somebody does go big with those big high mana cost spells, almost said epic spells, but then there actually are epic spells, so I didn't want to be confusing or anything. Got a little bounce. First, boomerang, evacuation, inundate, and echoing truth. Now, echoing truth is like, I feel like it's vastly, vastly underplayed simply because it is, people dismiss it because they think it's a singleton format. But you know what? This says hose target token army for 2 mana. That's exactly what this says. Oh, push the air out. New sleeves. And it just comes back up. Redirect. Redirect kind of works like a counterspell. I mean, you just, no, I think you're going to bolt your guy. Or I think you're going to Doomblade your guy. Whatever. Soulquake, because this is probably the weakest spot in the deck. I'm not going to. It's hard for me to defend this particular spot with this 7 mana sorcery. But now, removing all the creatures from the graveyard, I kind of did this because as a preemptive thing, maybe Undergrowth scares me, but there's a lot of, zombie decks are out there. The graveyard is our second hand. It's our offhand, if you will. But this may help. This may, if it matters in one game, I'll probably be sold on it. I don't know that I've put it in decks before, but I don't think I've ever actually cast it. It's a 7 mana sorcerer that doesn't say win the game, so I don't know. Now let's look at Breast Stealer's Crypt. Here again, this is a way to get some incidental damage if things are not going our way, and we have to rely on people just paying their life down. I mean, it's not exactly Azur's Weirding, but I didn't want Azur's Weirding because that just never lets you draw your commander. We've also got Pendrel Mist. Since we're hating on creatures and all, because in theory we're not going to have any because Etrata shuffles back in combat. So during your upkeep, you got nothing. Yeah, let your mirror die. Whatever. Trinket Mage done his deal. So we have to, if you'll notice, a lack of board wipes, a lack of, there's not a whole lot of removal. We're just kind of banking on doing our thing before we die. Now, same thing with Dreamtides. It's, for this deck, it's an improved stasis. It does cost double what stasis does, but creatures don't untap. We don't care. Because our commander's not in play during the untap step. So, now, it really hoses green, obviously. Green creatures just never untap, but it is the color with the most enchantment removal, so hey, it works out. Run your I can't think of the name of that dang card now. Oh shoot, y'all see me running just about every green deck. Okay, now we look at non-basic lands. Now, Seed of Synod and Vault of Whispers made the cut when cranial plating got put in. So, and Demir Aqueduct is a duel, and of course, I don't have a whole lot of duels, so I'm running the bounce lands. And you know, if I'm running a bounce land with black in it, I am running Bojuka Bog, so that I can double hit or hit two people twice, whatever. Terramorphic Evolving Wilds, the same card. And to be honest with you, so is Esper Panorama. It's going to go get something. We've got a couple of cycling lands, one each color. Draw some cards. Actual factual duels, cards that are in there just to give us either color. And I even put a Transguild Promenade in there because, you know, I didn't have a lot, and I think I bought like 80 of these because they were 2 cents, 3 cents. I don't know. I bought enough to get free shipping. I do, by the way, I do look at my local game stores first before I buy anything online. And really, I mean, beyond the Transguild Promenades and the Rogues Passages, I try to buy everything I can from the friendly local game shop. We've got 3 around here local, and they're all good guys, run good shops. But always support your friendly local game store. I mean, that's what's right now. It's harder than ever for them to make it. These people are not getting rich. I've been there, I've done that, and to be honest with you, I'll probably be there again at some point in time. I don't know, but they give us the community. But anyway, I mentioned Rogue's Passage because, you know, I honestly don't know why I have this in the deck. I will probably take this out for another random duel when I get it because, you know, Can't Be Blocked is built into our commander, which is the only creature we're going to attack with. So, yeah, this is probably not a really good slot for Rogue's Passage. But I'm in the habit, because I did buy 500 Rogue's Passages, I'm in the habit of, you know, dropping a Rogue's Passage in a 2-color deck. Now, if it's a 3-color deck, you need all the mana you can get, so I don't normally run that many utility lands. And, of course, lastly, probably the worst land in the deck, Temple of the False God. I made this pick when I was selecting all the artifacts and the big mana so that I could just recast. Because on the surface, on this deck, the first time you play it in any certain meta, you're just going to, I'm playing all these rocks so I can recast my general. Instantly, that makes you not a threat. It makes you not a threat because everybody knows it's going to take forever to do that. And they got time. You're not a threat, especially committing to that theme with stuff like Temple of the False God and all these artifact, you know, so that's what I have got for Etrata. I was really excited about it because I love the Doomsday Desperate Research. Desperate Day, Doomed Research. She's a doomed researcher. That may be what I named the video. No. I've been trying to name the videos the actual name of the card because I've been going back and numbering. Here, sorry. I've been going back and numbering. Whoa! As much as I can. But like right here. Knights. I didn't. I'll use like. There are 9 decks here that I can't number because I didn't use the commander name as the deck name. So now I've got to search through, what was it, like 400 something videos and find what those decks are to number them because I've used them, but I didn't use Droshin. I could have swore I used like Crazy Ex-Girlfriend or something like that because, you know, she deals with X. But anyway, y'all see I got Tajik ready to go. He'll be the next one. But that's what I've got. I do appreciate y'all watching. Y'all let me know what you think. starting to ramble now, so I think we're going to shuffle and cut.